Hello there, you're welcome to Biology Lectures with Akerele Oladimiji Philip. It's my wonderful pleasure to have you with me on the lecture today. Today I'll be looking at a topic. It was prompted by one of the classes I was taking with my medical students, and I found out that sometimes people don't even know how twins are formed. So this video is for everybody that wants to know how twins are formed, as well as of course those that will probably be asked in exams in reproductive physiology and all sorts of things like that, or what have you. So basically you have different twins on the screen, starting with this part here. That those are non-identical twins. These are apparently identical twins, and these are also identical twins, but with a difference. The difference is the fact that you could see that they're wearing the same shirt, like just one shirt, I mean to say, and that's because they are together. These are conjoined. These are conjoined twins. Conjoined twins. So this video is going to be in two parts. The first part I'm going to talk about these twins, then afterwards I will talk about the conjoined twins and all of that. All right, so let's get started. So basically the question we ask ourselves is, okay, what are the common guesses? People say a lot of sort of things about twins. Twins are formed by this and that. So let's look at this. One of the common things, okay, so people say that two sperms fertilized an egg, then the egg split or something like that, like two sperm. So no, like they said, this is an egg cell, then this is one sperm fertilizing it, another sperm fertilizing it. So this is going to form a twins. That's some people's belief about that. Then some believe that a sperm split into two, then each sperm fertilizes an egg. So that means, so we have two eggs here, but one sperm cell we then split into two. Then one goes here, one goes there. And let me say, these guesses are erroneous, meaning that they are not correct, so to say. So basically, that's then another one says one egg split into two, and each part of the egg gets fertilized by different sperm. Okay, so this one is like, okay, you have one egg, then the egg split into two, then a sperm goes here and a sperm goes here, and there are others, like, and others. Let me say this, all of these emphatically are wrong. All of these are very, very, very wrong. They are assumptions of people. They are just assumptions of people. So they are really, really wrong, so to say. So let's look at the facts to this. Now, twins are two offspring produced by the same pregnancy. So it means that they were produced at the same time. Now, but the condition in which they are produced varies. All right. So these are just, you can see, this is what was magnified into this, so to say. These are twins. You can see two of them in there. So they are produced by one pregnancy, but they might not, it doesn't mean they were formed from one single structure, but we're going to see all of that. So don't forget, the basics is twins are formed from one pregnancy, as it were. All right, so now types of twins, because I just want to keep this short, but I will try to break some things down. Twins can either be monozygotic. This is when they develop from one zygote, which splits and form two embryos. Now, the first thing we need to correct right now, ideally, as a law, a sperm cell can only fertilize an egg successfully. Take note of that word, successfully. The reason I say that is because it's possible that this is an egg, then one sperm cell comes in here, and that sperm cell gets in at the same time. Usually what we expect is that one sperm cell should get there first and enter into the egg. Yes, but there are instances whereby two sperm cells got in there at the same time. I mean, two of them got in there and were able to find their way into this. So when that happens, we call that polyspermy. It has not been recorded that when two sperm cells fertilized an egg, that egg will survive. No, the egg will commit suicide, self-suicide, which we call apoptosis, self-suicide. Sorry about that. We call it apoptosis. Apoptosis, which means cell death. I mean, like cell death. It's going to kill itself. Why will it do that? Because an egg has 23 chromosomes. So one sperm cell comes in with 23 chromosomes, another one comes in with 23 chromosomes. That means in the end, this zygote is going to have 69 chromosomes. That is practically very, very bad. Humans have never existed on that platform or that frequency before. So the cell or the zygote will commit suicide and kill itself. So please, it's not going to be the woman will not even know anything happen inside of her. So it's not, when I say suicide, please don't freak out. Suicide simply means it's going to kill itself. It doesn't mean it's going to cause some sort of serious rumbling in the abdomen of the uterus. No. It doesn't do all of that. The point is, one sperm cell is only fertilizing an egg successfully. Successfully means that be able to form a fetus or an embryo and a fetus. But when two sperm cells have fertilized an egg, or even more than that, polyspermy, that egg will commit suicide. That zygote formed will commit suicide because it has been programmed to do so. So what happens in the monozygotic twins that leads to what we call identical twins is that one sperm, this is an egg cell with 23 chromosomes, then the sperm cell comes in, usually 23 chromosomes. Why? Because it has been produced by meiosis. Then it forms a zygote, which is 46 chromosomes like that. Then, based on some internal mechanism which has not been totally unraveled, this zygote splits mitotically. That means we're going to have the same number of chromosomes in each of the zygotes formed now. So then this will become a baby. This will become a baby. So it means that one sperm cell, one egg cell, then after it has fused to form a zygote, then that zygote then splits into two. Then each of the zygotes start living independently. And that is why it is called identical twins. They must be the same gender. We're going to see that shortly anyways. Because they were formed from the same sperm cell and from the same egg cell, so to say. Now, having established that part, the next thing is, how do we form dizygotic twins? It means that each twin develops from a separate egg, and each egg is fertilized by its own sperm cell. So usually one of the ovaries releases an egg from its follicle, but there are instances whereby maybe the two ovaries releases egg from the follicles from the two ovaries. So you now have an egg, like you have two eggs or you have two ova. Of course, during sexual intercourse, millions of sperm cells are released. So this egg cell gets fertilized by a sperm cell. This egg cell gets fertilized by another sperm cell. So, but because they were formed during the same period, they are twins. But they are just like a common, just like a normal sibling, because they are formed from different egg cell, different sperm cells. They can be the same gender and they might not be. All right. So let's move on and see more about each of those things. So it says formed from one egg and one sperm cell. I already established that. Embryo splits mitotically. I already explained that. Now, same gender. Why? Because if this is an egg cell, which usually have X chromosome at its last sex chromosomes, then it is fertilized by a sperm cell carrying X chromosome. That means that we're going to have a female. Of course, 46 chromosomes, so you're going to have 44 autosomes. Then the sex chromosome will be XX. That means it's going to be girls. Why is it going to be girls? Because these guys are going to split mitotically to form the same thing like that. Sorry about that. 44 plus XX, 44 plus XX. Because it is formed from the same egg, same sperm cell, it's going to be the same gender. It has never changed before. Let's assume that this was fertilized by Y chromosome. So, the sperm cell is carrying Y chromosome. That means the baby is going to be having XY at its sex chromosomes, and that's going to be what? A male. So if it's then split also, it's going to be the same thing. XY, XY. It's going to be boy, boy. So it must be the same gender. It has always been the same gender. That is the nature of monozygotic twins, because they were formed from the same sperm cell, from the same egg cells. All right. Now, having established that, it says here, monochorionic, which means they will share the same placenta. And that has an effect. I'm going to show you that shortly. They're going to share the same. The word chorionic means placenta. So you're going to have word placenta, but two umbilical cords anyway. Then, of course, they are mostly diamniotic. Diamniotic means that we have each of the babies will be in different in different amniotic fluid, amniotic sac, so to say, or amniotic fluid, or we say amnion, so to say. So this diamniotic means that they will usually, most of them, there are instances where some of them are monoamniotic, which means the two twins are in the same amniotic sac. It's rare, but the most common one is this, really. Now, identical appearance, but influenced by environmental factors. Yes, they are meant to look almost exactly the same, like almost the same, almost inseparable, but there could be a little change as time goes on, maybe just rearrangement of genes within them after they splitted and all those things. So genetic information also identical, so to say, then almost identical, because there could be a little bit of mutation, but not much. Same blood type. Now it says stands a high risk of twins to twins transfusion syndrome. This happens because most of them, it happens because of them being monochorionic, which means that the two babies share one placenta. For some reason, one baby or one fetus tends to get more blood supply than the other one. So the one that gets more supply gets bigger in size and usually gets its organ overworked because it has a lot of blood supply, a lot of energy. Then this one's going to usually be smaller because it has lesser blood supply to itself. So there are some factors that makes that happen. But because they are monochorionic, which means they are sharing one placenta, then there's high tendency of them having twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome, which means this one is the donor that sends the blood. Of course, how the instruction is given to this one to send the blood to the second one, nobody really understands the real thing, but it happens really. So usually this one is going to be very, very small. It might even probably die if care is not taken, so to say. But that's just, I'm not meant to go into that in details right now. So this is how monozygotic twins are formed. Like I already explained, a sperm cell fertilizes an egg, then the zygote splits. Then this becomes the same, of course, genetically identical. They have the same gender and all of those things. There could be a little change anyways, but not much. Then you see they are sharing the same placenta, so to say, like I already explained. You might want to pause the video to get some details here. So these are the real examples of monozygotic twins. These guys are really, really, really identical. Really, looking at this guy makes me feel like having twins. Actually, I didn't really. I'm indifferent when it comes to twins, really. But looking at this guy, seriously, they are really good looking, and they are both boys and all of that. But the point is, sorry, when I say they are both boys, I'm not saying I prefer boy to girl. I mean, just say that, so to say. Now, the point is we have normal ones, which means they have equal blood supply, almost the same size. But this is the TTF I told you about, TTTS, which means twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome. You can see this is the bigger one. It's going to have a lot of energy, but also the organs will be overworked because it's receiving a lot of blood supply, and so the metabolism is going to be higher. Then this was rather very small because its blood supply is smaller and the cells are less developed, so to say, because the blood carries energy or carries nutrients that produces energy. All right. Then we go more in details into dizygotic twins, of course, formed from two sperm cells and two egg cells. Can be same gender or different gender depending on the sperm cell that fertilizes the egg. What do we mean by that? If this is an egg, of course, usually with X chromosome, another egg with X chromosome. If this one gets fertilized by a sperm cell carrying X chromosome, and this gets fertilized by another sperm cell carrying X chromosome, that means the two children is going to be girls, which might not necessarily look exactly alike because they are different two gametes that forms them. But if it happens that we have two eggs again, X chromosomes as usual, because females are homozygous in nature. So this is going to be fertilized by, let's say, Y chromosome, and this is fertilized by a sperm cell carrying X chromosome. That means it's going to be a boy and a girl. So that's why they can be, they can be any gender, so to say. They can be the same boy, it can be the same girl. That's what I just showed you. It depends on the sperm cells that is present on the chromosome that is present in the sperm cell that forms them, so to say. Now it says here, usually dichorionic, which means they will have the different placenta that is being used for them. Then also they will have different blood group because they are just different humans born at the same time. The information are like other siblings, just the way you look at your brother. So they will just have a common resemblance, the way brothers and sisters look alike. The information are like other siblings. I already said that. Appearance is just like any other siblings also, so to say. Then it's usually caused by some hereditary disposition. There's some internal factors in different people that makes it easy for them to have twins, that prompt their ovaries to release two eggs, so to say. All right. And of course, it is common in IVF. IVF is in vitro fertilization, when you take eggs from a woman and you get the sperm cell from the man or the husband, so to say, or from any man. Then you put that together in the laboratory, you cause them to fertilize, then it develops into an embryo. Then you then take some of the embryo, then you inject that into the female. That's usually you will normally have multiple births from that. Yeah. So, and these children, those embryo are just going to look like, look alike. Usually they're not always the same gender. Usually it could just be maybe two boys, one girl, or one boy, one girl. And sometimes it could just be two boys, but usually it's always the same gender. Then the fertility drugs, yes. Most of the time when people want to even use IVF, they will have been given some drugs to stimulate, like FSH, to make their follicles to mature and all of those things, so to say. All right. So these are examples of dizygotic twins, which means non-identical twins or fraternal twins. You can see what happens: two different eggs all the way, two sperm cells all the way. So they're just formed. And we said here, they are usually going to be having their different placenta. So they are dichorionic in nature, which means they have different different placenta. They could be the same gender, but there's little resemblance. You can see little resemblance. These ones are, I don't know, these guys look almost like very, very different. Seriously. And these ones, of course, you can still see that they both have this common, I don't know what kind of eyes I would call that really, but the truth is these are all twins, and you can see they don't really look alike. Seriously. Except for these guys really look alike in a way. But because they are formed from the same pregnancy, we still call them twins, so to say. All right. So people usually prefer the identical twins because there's a way you just look at them like, wow, these are twins. All right. So in summary, this is how we have different types of twins. The dizygotic twins, which means having two sperm cells, two egg cells, forming the whole thing. Then, of course, they're going to be dichorionic, which means two different placenta. But for monozygotic, like I told you, if you look at this, there's some information that is worthy of note there. This means, when it says monochorionic, means the same placenta. Monoamniotic, the same, just in one amnion or one amniotic sac. But this is the most common one, like I told you. monochorionic, meaning they are sharing one placenta, then having two different amniotic sacs. So that's what we call them diamniotic. Then also here you can have, let me get that off, you can have dichorionic diamniotic, which means having, they are still identical twins sharing different placenta. Yes, it's still possible, and they're still identical twins. It depends on how they were formed. Here you might want to pause the video here and just go through this. Let me take this off so that it won't obstruct what you want to see here. So this is a summary of how twins are formed. I mean, I just felt like sharing it because people just get it confused and all those things. Please let me know how you feel about this video. Hope this was helpful. So in the next video, we're looking at conjoined twins. This is very, very interesting. So see you then.